big, enthusiastic crowd, as always, inside Arthur Ashe Stadium for night tennis in the U.S. Open. And the headline match of the opening round, Maria Sharapova, former champion here, playing first match in a while since pulling out of a tournament in Stanford earlier in the U.S. Open Series, injured against,
thank you, ladies and gentlemen,
world number 2, Simona Halep.
Maria Sharapova to serve. Quiet, please. Thank you.
Maria Sharapova to serve to Simona Halep.
Ready, play. Love 15.
Alan Bestwick with Chanda Rubin here at the U.S. Open. How important for these two players to settle into this match quickly?
It's as important as anything else. Getting the nerves out, building the confidence up in the early stages of this match.
Second service.
Type of point that Sharapova will look to play as often as possible.
15.
Getting the first serve in when she can play from a position of strength, immediately attacking, staying on that baseline. She will be able to out-position Halep as this match goes on.
Let first service.
Good start to that point for Halep. See her trying to attack
15,
the second serve well
30.
inside the baseline. That was something she didn't do quite as well in her last match, that final in Cincinnati against Muguruza. Didn't take advantage of the second serves. Looks like she's trying to change that around here.
What she did well in that last match.
That's true.
Sharapova is challenging the ball.
We'll have a chase
Left
review
baseline.
here.
The ball's called in.
Tough one to stop on. That ball very close. Sharapova not the most successful person with the challenge. She will lose the point if she is incorrect. And she's right.
30.
That's a bold stoppage.
Serve. Aggressive play.
Sharapova in this early stage of the match,
30.
very confident, making the adjustment, getting that serve at the height of the toss, and then no hesitation.
Opens the match with a service hold, does Maria Sharapova.
First game.
Well, for a minute I was curious when you were talking about aggressiveness on the first serve, because in the small sample size of those first few points, only got one first serve in, but then as that game went on, started to get a little more confidence in it, a little more aggressive, maybe even just a little more comfortable.
Well, in the teeth of the game, from 30 all, those were 2 big points from Sharapova, and she knows it. I mean, that is critical, getting on the board, holding serve. Now she has an opportunity to take a few cuts at some returns.
Simona Halep to serve.
So now Simona Halep to serve. Jumped all over the second serve.
That's when Sharapova is at her most dangerous. When she gets a second serve, she is very aggressive, stepping well inside and extending beautifully. And one of the things that Halep
15 all.
does so well is she gets great trajectory on her shots. She gets it up a little higher, doesn't have the most pace, but when she gets the ball deep, you can't really step in. That one, very well placed. Unafraid, willing to move into the midcourt area. And showing a little touch there. You don't often see that from Sharapova. But when I say trajectory on Halep's shots, she gets great height.
Well placed serve leading to an easy put away.
Well, she has great margin as well, Halep, and that ball had a lot of spin on it. Well inside the baseline, well inside the sidelines. But only one winner thus far, that last shot from Halep.
I feel like with this game, I feel like that just getting through this game and holding serve is important for Halep.
I think that's accurate.
Just to settle in.
Absolutely, and just don't want to get down an early break against Sharapova. It's just not comfortable.
Game Halep.
All right, so getting a little help, but a hold of serve for Simona Halep.
1 game all for set.
So again, not to overstate it, but I just think especially after a couple of those points in that game, it was really crucial for Halep to settle into this match, not give up the early service break, and get her confidence up against someone who's had her number.
It's an important game for Halep. Holding serve, she didn't
15
panic.
love.
Got a little sticky in the middle of that game, but she stayed with her strength and she kept swinging, kept getting the spin on her shots, and 1-all is a lot different than being down. Love 2. This is Sharapova really at her best, and she looks very good here these
30
first few
love.
games. Moving well, seeing the ball early, and that's the second time she's changed the pace, gone with the little short slice.
Thank you, players ready.
She is thinking out there.
I mean, Halep played good defense there. Just got to be too much. Did you ever have someone in your career, Chanda, that just had your number for a while and took you a while to figure them out?
I struggled with Venus.
Yeah.
But we had tough matches.
Yeah.
7-5 in the third, but could not get over the hump of winning. It's just a matchup sometimes.
Well, Venus has proven to be a pretty good player.
Yes, that goes without saying. And, you know, certainly you can say that with Halep. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Sharapova is, you know, one of the best players, has been one of the best players out there. So, you know, it's no slouch losing to her, but it's tough when it's that one-sided. Smart playing by Halep there. In the middle of that point, it looked like Sharapova had control, but Halep forced herself to change her positioning, got on top of the baseline, moved closer in, and was able to wrestle control of that point. Taking that ball on the rise. First double fault of the match for Sharapova. Feeling the pressure from Halep, who had stepped in just a little closer to that baseline.
That didn't miss by a little.
Thank
either.
you.
That's one of those you look at and say, what was that?
Not easy to hit the serve down the tee on the second serve in the ad court.
Ms. Sharapova is challenging the
Chase
ball.
review here, and a
Left
challenge from
offside
Maria.
line.
It
The
looks
ball
like
was
that
ruled
ball
out.
just missed.
By that much.
Advantage, Halep.
So an opportunity here for a break point for Halep.
That is bold hitting,
Ms. Halep is challenging
great
the
ball
ball.
striking.
Left near sideline. The ball was
Halep
pulled
is going
in.
to challenge
She's
that. A
challenging
chase
it.
review coming.
Able to hit this winner with the defensive skills of Halep. Can't get any closer than that.
Ms. Sharapova has 2 challenges remaining. Ms. Halep has 2 challenges remaining. Thank you, players are ready. Advantage, Sharapova.
And early on, Sharapova has been mixing her serve up there, going to the forehand. It's gone out to the backhand on the last serve, keeping Halep guessing.
Deuce.
One thing that hasn't changed in Sharapova's time away from the game is her deliberateness and her thoughtfulness. When she steps up to that service line, you can see the wheels turning. Okay, what am I doing here?
She takes her time, very distinctive deliberation process.
Advantage, Sharapova.
And it's really methodical, the way she goes about her process between points. Turning her back to the court, thinking about where she wants to serve, does the same thing on her returns.
Deuce.
Unforced errors are starting to pile up for Sharapova at number 10 right now.
We talked about Halep only having a couple of winners, but she is being helped from the other side of the net.
Thank you.
And that's what
Players
Halep
already,
would
thank
hope
you.
for. Some critical moments, that
Please.
occasional unforced error.
Advantage,
That winner
Sharapova.
from Sharapova, well struck, but Halep getting the serve back, putting the ball back in play, that may start to pay some dividends as this match goes on. Sharapova has not had a lot of matches under her belt.
Game, Sharapova.
Great serve. And a service hold after facing a break point. We're on serve
Sharapova
here in the
needs 2
first.
games to 1
Sharapova and
for
Halep.
sets.
Well, for a moment there, facing the break point, you wondered if that would be the first blink of the match, but Sharapova stood tall despite, again, the imbalance in the unforced error count, and managed to hold serve.
Well, and that's her game. That's Sharapova. That's the way she plays. And win or lose, she's going to go out swinging. She's going to keep coming at her opponents. And you know, she looks pretty confident considering she hasn't had a lot of matches. She's had a couple of double faults, I believe. One actually for the match, and the first serve percentage, not bad. I mean, she's at 70%. Halep's at 50% of first serve. So for Sharapova, that's a decent number. She might like that a little bit higher as the match goes on, but she's been able to be aggressive behind her serve, and she's very clear on her game plan. She's attacking into the open court. Interesting to see how Halep holds up as the match goes on with her serve and with the pressure that Sharapova is going to continue to put on the serve.
So Halep will be serving here, trying to stay on serve. And I think so far, everything we hoped for from this match. Back and forth between two of the best in the sport.
It's been a high quality so far, and both players, they are playing their game.
Simona Halep to serve here, trying to stay on serve after not being able to convert a break point a moment
Please
ago
find a seat
against
quickly,
Maria
thank
Sharapova.
you. Any seat for now, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
It's New York. It's always a crowd that filters in as the early moments of the first of the nighttime doubleheader go on.
Thank you, players are ready.
And this is part of the challenge, is maintaining the focus. There's a lot going on in the crowd. You hear a little bit of the buzz. People talking.
Love 15.
Is one of the things that players talked about a lot a year ago when the roof made its debut here in Arthur Ashe Stadium. Remember the first time they closed the roof, had a little rain shower, and played indoors? The players said you could really hear more of the echoes and the murmurs than before. The roof is open tonight.
15-all.
The weather is beautiful, but I think that the structure that brings the roof into play just adds to containing some of that sound and really boosting the atmosphere.
Well, they've worked to try to minimize some of that. It was just the hum you hear with this structure.
(30-15).
And by the way, the weather forecast is fabulous for almost as far as we can accurately see into this U.S. Open.
Isn't that the way it always happens when you put a roof? You have no rain.
I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right?
That's a good point.
We talked a lot about what we've seen from Maria Sharapova so far in this because we haven't seen much of her. What have you seen from Halep so far?
Well, I think for Halep, I mean, she is playing her game. She's one of the best defenders out there. She's getting a lot of balls back, forcing Sharapova to come up with the winner. Halep has also tried to step in on
40,
returns
30.
on second serves from Sharapova, and that has paid some dividends. The first serve percentage is the one thing that I think Halep can do a bit better as the match goes on and move that serve around, not let Sharapova stand and hit from a stable position.
Deuce.
But you can see Halep, and she's having to react just a bit quicker. Maybe likes a little more time, but Sharapova is forcing her to react, and that last miss is because of the speed of shot from the other side. That's a big point from Sharapova. Has used that play quite often, going behind Halep. When you have a player as speedy as Halep is, it's a great play. And they take off to the open court, get them off balance, the ball behind them. 16 shots, that last point. It's getting physical.
Yeah, the break opportunity here now for Sharapova. Great second serve from Halep.
Very smart serve. And Sharapova has been looking to hit the forehand, to run around. Serves, second serves to the backhand, and Halep took her opportunity there. It's a brave play at that time in the match.
Advantage, Halep.
Great first serve.
That has to be two of Halep's best serves thus far at the perfect time. That's a tough second serve. That one didn't quite move Sharapova the way the serve did
the prior one,
on that side of the court, her last serve.
Yeah.
Easy pickings there.
She was much closer to the tee with the last second serve.
Advantage Sharapova.
That ball was so fast off of Sharapova's racket. It was on and past Halep before she even had time to come out of the serve.
So a second opportunity to earn a service break. And helped a little bit.
And that's a bit of the rust that is in the Sharapova game. Was a little anxious on that return, had it on her racket, just pulled off of it. Back to deuce.
And the behind Halep play again. Here's Sharapova a third opportunity to try and take this service game.
Just a well-played point by Sharapova.
How did Simona Halep keep that point alive?
And that is classic Halep, showing the defensive skills that has gotten her to 2 in the world. And she is one of the best, covering the entire court there, making Sharapova hit this last ball in an area where she's uncomfortable.
Thank you, players are ready.
That's well done.
Showing off the wheels. Again, that second serve of
Advantage
Sharapova able to tee off on. What's this, break point number 4?
Well, how many players would have been just a little more passive after losing that point where they were in control? Sharapova gets right back up to the line, keeps hitting.
Game, Sharapova.
And so the service break on the second serve earned by Maria Sharapova.
This is where Maria Sharapova is one of the best in the world at forgetting when things don't go her way. She completely puts it out of her mind and starts fresh. And that is such a difficult thing for some players to do. It's a great asset for the Russian.
Love 15.
Good first point from Halep after losing that last game.
Love 13.
And that's Sharapova's favorite place to go, especially on second serves, because of where she tosses the ball. Sometimes it gets too far out in front. It's hard for her to hit it to the backhand. Gets the double fault Halep does there.
So a little bit of an opportunity for Halep to try and get that break right back.
Halep has played a pretty good match thus far, but she just has nowhere to go. There's no break in the intensity that Sharapova brings, and continuously putting Halep under pressure. Still a little bit of an opportunity at 15:30, though. That's a good serve.
30
right on the line.
An even 100 miles an hour. And that little glimmer of hope for that break is snuffed out. Sharapova steps in and gets results.
That's just too good. I mean, from Sharapova, and for Halep, the further back she goes in the court, as she did on that point, the shorter her replies are. And Sharapova stepping well in and meeting it with force.
Deuce.
Sharapova trying to flatten that ball out just a little more. Seeing the finish line in this game, but she's going over the high part of the net there. That's a good play from Halep, and it started because she took the opening up the line. She's been going cross-court, Halep has.
Advantage Halep.
And Sharapova was looking for that. Didn't expect it up the line, and it opened the court up. Gotta be willing to take the openings up the lane against a player of Sharapova's caliber.
So Simona Halep, the second seed, is able to get the service break just given up right back.
Sharapova leads 3-2 versus.
Those may be sighs of relief from Simona Halep after having to work very hard to get back on serve in this first set.
Well, that's a big game that Halep just won, getting the break back immediately. And she was just a little more aggressive. And she's not hitting the ball bigger, but she was aggressive with her direction and also her court positioning. And that's going to be key for Halep as this match goes on. And I think it's also good for Halep that this first round, the toughest first round in the draw, but it's a pressure reliever, because if Halep loses this match, it's not a bad loss. Sharapova is a 5-time Grand Slam champion. So I think it's allowing Halep to relax a little bit more, and she's playing some of her best tennis in the teeth of these games.
I will just say this, it's not a bad loss, and she can still get to world #1, but she didn't come here to New York to go out in the first round.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
she came here to New York to try and take home a big trophy.
But it's about finding ways to relieve the pressure that is going to inevitably be there.
An exchange of service breaks between Maria Sharapova and Simona Halep has us back on serve in this first set opening round match. The former U.S. Open champion Sharapova into the tournament on a wild card After, of course, losing her ranking from serving a
players are ready.
doping ban, and then missing most of this summer injured. Halep, of course, coming in with a chance for a 4th time of claiming the #1 spot in the world rankings.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Also
Players are
for
waiting.
a U.S. Open championship. And that
Quiet,
journey
please.
begins with a
Thank
difficult
you. Your voices
matchup.
are carrying.
She has never beaten Sharapova in 6 previous tries.
Love 15.
Right on the very outside edge of that back line for Sharapova. And Halep couldn't get it back.
Love 13.
That's almost the exact same start that Sharapova had to her last service game.
Yeah.
Got down love 30 immediately. 2 very quick points. That's the difference maker in Sharapova's game. She has the ability to explode a ball. No chance for Halep, even with her wheels.
Halep has only won 4 of 12 second serve points in the match.
15-14.
That's been a good serve for Halep, though, going to the Sharapova forehand, down the tee. Sharapova maybe looking for the backhand. A couple more break points.
This
will be now the 7th breakpoint opportunity Sharapova has had in the match. She has converted 1. Halep 1 of 2 and breakpoints 1. So 3 service break games in a row. And now Sharapova with the ball on her racket and a chance to try and consolidate again.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a courtesy to the players, please not call out between first and second serves. Thank you.
It is an absolutely beautiful night here, and fans enjoying this extremely competitive match. Just about every game has gone almost to deuce or to 30. Just a few points here and there have made the difference.
15 love.
As you'd expect between 2 high caliber players. And again, although Maria comes in ranked 146th in the world because of all the time that she has missed, she's a 5-time Grand Slam champion.
And she's actually gotten back to 146 pretty quickly, considering how little she's played.
Missed that long.
15 all.
Had the open court, but the pressure that Halep puts on opponents, because she gets to so many balls, she shrinks the court, and Sharapova just overplaying on that one. Hit that spot perfectly.
We mentioned that how little Sharapova has played. This just the 5th event that she's played this year. And of course, she's playing here in New York for the first time since 2014. Remember, she missed 2015 injured and then missed last year. Do I challenge or not?
That looked just wide. And, you know, the second forehand in a row missed by Sharapova, catching that one just a little bit late. Not quite getting the direction inside the line that she was aiming for.
Beautiful ceremony just before the start of tonight's match, celebrating 20 years of Arthur Ashe Stadium.
30-40.
Facility that so much changed the course of the U.S. Open when it opened 20 years ago. And full again tonight, mostly full, as two of tennis's most popular women square off in an unexpected opening round match. Break opportunity here for Halep to try and get a fourth consecutive service break game. Another break point saved by Sharapova.
After 3 missed shots, Sharapova making the adjustment, getting just a little more height over the net, and taking that ball on the rise, but well inside the lines.
Maria has saved 5 of 7 break points that have been out there. Or not converted opportunities that she's had to break. Another double fault.
Advantage Halep.
Third one of the match.
And the double faults have primarily come on the sides of the middle service line. Sharapova trying to get Halep stretched out. Darren Cahill looking on.
Game Halep.
4 consecutive games with a service break. Simona Halep evening up.
Sharapova leads 4 games to 3 first set.
Well, that's certainly not the pattern you would expect from these two players for 4 consecutive games with a break of serve. But that's how close and how small the margins have been in this one.
I mean, you can understand from Sharapova's side, you know, she's still a bit rusty, has not had the matches. The serve sometimes, you know, and that's a confidence shot. And that's a shot that you get from having the reps, and it's not quite flowing consistently for Sharapova, but she's serving well at the big moments. And she, before those last couple of service games, it's just a couple of points here or there. I mean, that last game was really the ground strokes. She missed 3 in a row in the middle of that game, and Halep took advantage of it. From Halep's side, the serve isn't necessarily her strength, but she has the ability to play well behind her serve because she's so quick around the court. But here, with Sharapova's ability to hit through the ball on the returns, it's been even more of a struggle for Halep on serve.
Simona Halep discussed the difficult loss at Cincinnati earlier this week, and coming up short at trying to get to #1, said maybe she thought about it too much. Maybe she felt the pressure too much. Said she's not thinking about it anymore. She said, if I deserve it, I'll win it. If not, I won't. So after 4 consecutive breaks of serve, Simona Halep here to try and even things up, serving at 3-4 in this first set.
Wait, please. Thank you. Love 15.
And there is Halep's first double fault. Check that, second double fault of the match. She's only getting 52% of her first serves in play.
Yeah, that's a tough recipe. Throw in the second serve, you're faced with hitting that second serve, and you know Sharapova's looking to step in. She's hitting that ball up the line, closing off the court, and that's more pressure you're putting yourself under.
(15-13).
20 unforced errors for Sharapova in the match against 5 for Halep. When you look at that number, part of that you attribute to how aggressive Maria has been in the match. She has come out with an aggressive strategy, and she hasn't taken her foot off the gas yet. And
that's her game, and she will win or lose playing that style, and she has 20 winners to offset those unforced. So it's really more of a war of attrition. You know, who's going to play their style better and a little more consistently throughout the match.
Might be who's going to get the next hold of serve.
That too.
Another break opportunity.
Juice.
And that return, Sharapova off balance, falling off the backhand, trying to hit up the line, which is one of the more difficult shots to hit. Darren Cahill, Halep's coach, looking very stoic.
Advantage Halep.
We talk about the unforced errors from Sharapova, and in the last couple of games, they've really piled up. I mean, she's probably had 5 or 6 just in the last couple of games.
There's a service hold, and we're even at 4 apiece as Halep is able to fend off the break point and get a hold on things.
4 games all, first set.
And that has to give Halep such a boost in confidence.
And it also swings a little bit of pressure back to the other side of the net.
Well, it's now Sharapova. You know, she now has to hold serve here. She'll be facing a tremendous uphill battle, momentum-wise. This is where Halep has to not get tentative. And that's the flip side of it. Held serve Halep for the first time in a number of games. Easy to breathe a sigh of relief and just sit back and feel like you're where you need to be. This is the time for Halep, you know, to try to pounce and take advantage.
She goes behind Simona Halep again. We've seen that, what now, 5 times, 6 in the match?
It's been a great play. Yeah. And Halep has taken off because she's trying to catch up to the speed and pace from Sharapova, and Sharapova takes advantage. It's a great play against a speedy player.
Great ball by Halep to set up that miss.
Much better depth in that last shot.
15.
Her balls were getting a little short in the court, and it's becoming danger time for Halep, and she made the adjustment in the middle of the point. Keeps herself in striking distance in this game.
Do you think that's what that woman was saying? Was great point by Halep?
That's a good point by Sharapova. Halep was trying to stay in a neutral position, trying to force just slightly. So difficult to do against the pace and depth from Sharapova, trying to force play.
Jumped all over that.
That's a great return from Halep. Took that ball on the rise and didn't just go back up the middle of the court. Gave it some direction, went down her lane there, and it's something she should look to continue to do, especially on second serves.
Let's serve.
And a service hold for Maria Sharapova. This is turning into a great one here in Arthur Ashe Stadium. Well, it's everything we thought it would be. Two of the best players in the world, even though one's been missing for a while. Going toe-to-toe here, and while they had some shaky service games in the middle of it, there is very little to show for difference between Simona Halep and Maria Sharapova.
Well, it was either going to be a terrible match or a great battle. I don't think it was going to be in between, and it has turned out to be such a competitive match between these two. Haven't quite gotten the flow on their service games the way they might like, but they're competing well. You see the strategy that each player is trying to employ, and they're both playing their games at a fairly high level. And it's just going to be perhaps who's mentally tougher in these big moments as this set goes on and as the match continues. Who has that just a little bit of additional belief in those big moments?
Well, for Simona Halep, coming in here having made the quarterfinals last year, the semifinals the year before at the U.S. Open, just looking for that push over the top to take home a major championship and a tough test to open her bid for this U.S. Open. So Simona Halep collecting the tennis balls to serve. Trying to stay in this first set. Can't afford to give up a third service break in this game.
Please, thank you.
Serving here at 4-5.
Any seat for now, especially at the ends of the court. Thank you.
As the people continue to enjoy the food and the beverage options and all that is afforded to them here at the U.S. Open.
Massive forehand. Love the pace and speed of shot, but also the angle that she got on it. Very few players can hit with that kind of confidence, that type of shot.
The reach to the right sideline to get the ball back in play and keep the point alive.
That was impressive from
Allowed
Sharapova.
that to happen, you bet.
Not as known for her movement around the court, but she was on that ball. Really stole that point from Halep.
So now a little pressure here on the world number 2.
Out.
That just missed.
A look over
15,
to her coach's box. Should I challenge? Obviously did not get the answer yes.
Well, it was a good serve from Halep. It jammed Sharapova just into her left hip. Couldn't extend on that backhand.
Another look.
Another ball
no
just
challenge.
missed. Yeah, that's just beyond the line.
Great serve.
This would be a tremendous game for
14,
Halep to win. Hold serve after the first 2 points. Sharapova well in control. Halep just staying the course here. Not panicking.
I know the serve was 92 miles an hour, but I'd like to know what the return was.
That return, I mean, the way Sharapova strikes the ball, she's one of the cleanest ball strikers, and when the contact point is perfect as it was there, you have almost no time to react coming out of the serve.
Advantage Halep.
Just missing by small margins right now. Sharapova is a couple of balls missed wide and long, and then that one hitting the tape. Advantage Halep to stay on serve. And she just keeps hitting Sharapova. We've seen it time and time again, and it just is so impressive. She doesn't lose confidence, doesn't lose the faith.
Just the angle on that cross-court backhand.
Advantage Halep.
And she doesn't back off, Sharapova,
Nope.
and that's what you see time and time again. And she's gotten some great angles. She's hit some ferocious winners. She's made some errors, and it's kept Halep in this set. And that ball right off the back of the line.
Had to skid a little bit, jump up, right? Or not jump, actually.
Yeah, it skidded through, and Halep did everything she could get that ball out into the court.
Advantage Sharapova.
Not a good time for that. Not that there ever is.
No, but that's the pressure that's in this game. Halep serving to stay in the set.
Thank you.
Tough when you
Ladies
throw
and
in a
gentlemen,
second
thank you.
serve.
Sharapova.
First set to Maria Sharapova. Wow. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breaks of serve in a 10-game set. And Sharapova comes out with the extra.
And we look at the summary of this first set and the first serves for Halep. She actually raised her percentage as the set went on. That's why she was able to hold serve the previous service game. But it was the winners from Sharapova, and the aggressive play had a lot of unforced errors, but still a positive differential for Sharapova. And for Halep, too often she just couldn't dictate in these important points. You see there as well the second serves. That held a little sway as the first set went on. Halep able to get into some of her service games just a little bit better because of a few misses from Sharapova. Just wonder if Sharapova is going to clean that up a little bit. She won a tough set there and has to be feeling that much more confidence from it.
Yeah, and then you have to wonder how Halep's going to respond here, because again, there wasn't much between them in that whole first set, but the end result is it goes in the Sharapova column. And she will come out to begin this second set, one up on Simona Halep in her return to the U.S. Open.
Please find a seat quickly, thank you. Time.
An even hour to play the first set between the number 2 seed, Simona Halep, and former champion Maria Sharapova.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Any seat for now.
So we begin the second set with Sharapova winning the first. And
Second
serving
set.
here to start the second.
Sharapova to serve. Thank you. Love 15.
I think it became an advantage for Sharapova serving first as the set went on, because you saw the breaks of serve, and it was Sharapova who had the opportunity to come back and get the break back, and constantly stayed just one step ahead of Halep. And then at the end, Halep under tremendous pressure serving to stay in the set.
Beautiful, right down the tee. He talked about Sharapova needing to play, liking to be a front runner. Now Halep finds herself in position of trailing here and playing from behind.
That's a difficult position to be in against Sharapova, but certainly this match is still very much there for either player. I think for Halep, she just has to make the slight adjustment. I think more first serves in, because she's not hitting big serves. So she's got to hit more first serves in the teeth of these games, and trying to dictate with direction within points a little bit more. Big serve. Another fabulous second serve.
94 miles an hour down the tee on a second serve.
Right on the line.
Game, Sharapova.
So a quick
First
service
game,
game
second
there. A lot
set.
of these service games in this entire match have gone up to 30-30 into deuce, and that one very quickly through for Sharapova. So now for Halep, the challenge is the response. After losing that first set and now losing the first game of this second set, it's the response. Again, there were 5 breaks of serve in the 10-game first set. She needs to hold serve here.
Well, and that's the challenge for Halep. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of pressure for her serving. You have Sharapova stepping in, hitting out on returns, and for Halep, 60% of first serves in is not great when you're not hitting winners, you're not hitting aces.
Love 15.
And it's certainly easier said than done because of the returning ability of Sharapova, but it's imperative. It's so critical for Halep to move that serve around the box but get first serves.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
Touch and spin.
Well, and perfect timing. Sharapova recognizing that
Love
Halep
13.
was so far behind the baseline. And Sharapova is inside the court, and that's the perfect time to play the drop shot. Look how far in Sharapova was. Last ball from Halep, much better direction.
15-13.
First few balls of that point, she went up the middle and she was putting herself in some trouble. Managed to swing that ball wide and get Sharapova off balance.
$15-14.
Another double fall, 4th of the match for Simona Halep. Sets up another opportunity for Sharapova to get a service break.
$30-14.
Sometimes.
Well, the Chase logo took a little bit of a beating there.
It's still standing though, still hanging. Needs a little adjustment there. But sometimes the weakest first serve is better than the best second serve.
Thank you.
Much better direction from Halep.
Deuce.
Fighting back to even it up.
It's no coincidence that those points, the last 2 points, were first serves. They weren't big first serves, but they didn't allow Sharapova to get in a dominant position in the early stages.
Advantage Halep.
Just a little over anxious
loose shot there, yeah.
From Sharapova.
So an opportunity for Simona Halep to come back from 15-40 down to hold serve in this game.
Deuce.
This is a time for Halep to think about what's been going on these last few points. Such a big difference for her throwing in the first serve versus the second.
Advantage, Halep.
And you talked about that adjustment and the small adjustments. I said this to you earlier. On the WTA Tour, players get the opportunity to have on-court coaching visits, not in the Grand Slams like here at the U.S. Open. I'm curious how the players will adjust to that being missing now that they've gotten used to having it.
Let first service.
Certainly players now are used to not having it at the slam, so it's an adjustment. You go into each slam sort of thinking about and making the adjustment.
Game, Halep.
Big service hold for Simona Halep.
One game all
at one
seconds.
apiece. Of course, on-court coaching, one of the things that the USTA experimented with in the qualifying rounds here at the U.S. Open, seemed to be generally well received by most reviews that I've heard.
It seems to be. I mean, it's been well known that there's a lot of coaching that has gone on over the years, and it's snuck into the fabric of the game. And you know, why not just make it legal? Make it part of what players are allowed to do.
Love.
I think when we talk about on-court coaching, there's mixed feelings whether it's a positive thing or not. I think from a fan standpoint and entertainment value, it's great. It's interesting to hear what coaches are saying when they go out on court, but it's a different dynamic than what coaches and players are really talking about, the way they're having conversations normally. I think it doesn't always showcase the sport in the best light, because sometimes players are having meltdowns, and you know, that's just something you need to deal with on your own. I mean, that's part of the game.
Yep.
But yet we're seeing it live and in color.
Well, that is part of what's changed, right? Cameras and microphones everywhere.
Everywhere.
40 love.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they decide, and after they review, after the tournament, obviously, how things went in the qualifying rounds with a number of the initiatives they made, including the serve clock.
Right. I think it's been good for the most part, and even the coaching and qualifying, it's not mic'd. It's just normal back and forth.
Let's.
I'll be curious to see what they come up with, and as the organizers of the Grand Slams get together and discuss these things, where it might go from here.
Let's. First serve.
A little bit of luck for Halep, and
40-15.
Certainly take it.
Old friend of mine used to say, you got to play your whole shot.
That's right.
Shot wasn't finished till it landed. Fourth double fault of the match. First in this second set for Sharapova.
It was looking like an easy hold. turned into a tricky game for Sharapova.
Great save by Halep, but not enough. And Sharapova is able to navigate the hold of serve.
Sharapova leads 2 games to 1, second set.
Halep having to chase that one well off the court, leaving the whole side open for Sharapova.
Well, how many players would not have even gotten that ball back?
Yeah.
Wouldn't have even attempted that shot. And with Halep, you can't cut off. You have to complete the point, hit that extra ball, and contest an opponent. Sharapova's done a great job with that.
Most of the matches around the grounds have finished up. Of course, we still have another one later on tonight. Jack Sock is in a 5th set over on Armstrong Stadium as he plays the young Australian Thompson. They've gone to a 5th after Sock was down 2, won the 3rd and 4th. Now they're in the 5th. And Dominika Sibylkova and Cheplova have just finished their 1st set. They were the last match of the day to get started, besides the one that's still to come here. And we'll see Alexander Zverev for the first time in this U.S. Open. Arthur Ashe Stadium and 137th U.S. Open Round 1, the first night session featuring a surprise opening round matchup between the 2nd seed Simona Halep and former champion Maria Sharapova into this tournament on a wild card. 5 breaks of serve in the 10-game first set. But we're on serve here in set number 2. Halep serving.
Any seat for now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Players are ready.
Alison Hughes, the chair umpire from Great Britain, trying to get things settled down. Painting the lines.
Love 15.
You can't relax. I mean, for Halep, she seemed almost in a neutral position, and Sharapova just went from neutral to offense. One swing.
Let the service. Love 13.
One thing I think that we've seen through the night, Maria coming back from the suspension that she was on, the long absence away.
Quiet, please.
How would she be received? She got a great ovation when she came out. She obviously has a fair share of the crowd behind her in this match also.
She's still nicely done by Halep. But Sharapova still has a tremendous fan base, and
15,
she is a champion
13.
in her own right. And I think a lot of people are happy to see her back and see her playing.
Yep.
And she certainly is a draw, and that's great for the game.
She served the penalty. She's come back. She is a popular player. There is no doubt she will climb the rankings quickly if she can stay healthy.
Got that time. And look how far inside the court Sharapova was.
15,
she is
14.
taking target practice with the Halep serve.
Particularly with the second serve, Halep has only won 8 of 24 second serve points.
Yeah, it's been a big problem, that second serve for Halep.
Game Sharapova.
So a break of serve. And Sharapova already up a set. Goes up 3-1 in this
Sharapova
second.
leads 3 games to 1 second set.
And it's just difficult for Halep starting the points under pressure on the defense all the time.
Quick reminder to download the US Open app for all the latest scores, stats, match highlights, player news, celebrity sightings, and more. Plenty of those in the house tonight. It's available in the iTunes and Google Play stores.
That shot has paid so many dividends for Sharapova in this match. The angle that she's been able to get primarily on the forehand, but they're getting it off the backhand side. When Sharapova has been stretched out, she's managed to come up with really good neutralizing balls.
Let's for service.
Of interesting coincidence to me, Sharapova broke Halep at 2-1 in the first set also. Halep was able to answer right back. See if she can do that again here.
Oh! 15-all.
Of course, you know, you just want to talk about service breaks. If you're Simona Halep, you cannot continue to keep losing service games and depend on breaking Sharapova to stay in this match.
Yeah, that's not a great recipe for success. Oh, wow. What a point.
Wow.
That definitely is getting a standing ovation from a lot of people in this crowd.
30,
Sharapova
15.
not quitting on this point, making the supreme effort. Get Halep out of position.
Getting the racket under that.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
That's just competing,
Yeah.
finding a way to win a point.
Nice duck by the line judge.
That's a great aggressive point from Halep.
30.
Flying after that last point. That's what Halep has to press herself to try to do whenever she sees a second serve. Sven Gronfeld there on the right. Sharapova's coach.
$30-14.
You know what I love that we're seeing in this match? The intensity of both of these players. See the look out of Halep's eyes waiting for that serve to come in, and we've seen that from Sharapova too. Just the intensity is everything we thought this match could be. So a chance to get the break right back again. Not on that serve.
Well, we know the level of intensity that Sharapova brings to her matches, brings to each and every point. And Whether she's playing well or not, she has that level of focus, and Halep is matching her and has done so throughout this match, and that's why she's still in it.
Great serve again. And a challenge coming.
The ball on the left near sideline. The ball was called in.
All right, look at our chase review to see if that caught the line on its way out the side. Oh yeah, square on it.
Advantage.
That's a frustration challenge.
Sharapova.
Sharapova consolidates the service break and now has a commanding hold on this match.
Second set, and by 1 set left. As Halep has 2 challenges remaining.
Beautiful command. So Sharapova up a set, and now up a break, and 2 games away from eliminating perhaps Simona Halep from this US Open.
Well, this is classic Sharapova, and what we've been seeing has a little bit of rust. We've seen some misses from her during the course of this match, but she has come out, she's swinging, hitting confidently, and serving decently. Maybe would like a little higher first serve percentage, but she served well in the big moments. She's been clutch, Sharapova has, and Halep hasn't played a bad match. She just hasn't been able to dictate very often.
Sharapova getting a timely re-gripping, retaping.
You always have the one person on your team that does it the best.
Simona Halep under a lot of pressure. Down a set, down a break, serving here at 1-4.
Love 15.
So not the way that Halep needed to start this service game. Again, beginning to feel the back against the wall in this match.
Well, and there you saw the first sign just of her looking over and kind of motioning with her head. And this is real pressure time for Halep, and she's staring down the barrel right now. A must-win game, holding serve here.
Halep's had her serve broken 4 times tonight by Maria Sharapova. 2 of those 4, she got the break right back. But one of them she didn't. It cost her the first set, in the 10th game of that set.
Oh, that's beautifully hit. And Halep was falling back on her back foot, and Sharapova moved in like there was a string between them, and Sharapova just took ground.
You know, if this match goes in favor of Sharapova, normally you'd look at this quarter of the draw and say, well, a wild card just beat the 2nd seed. That really opens things up. But that's not going to be the case here.
That's a tremendous return. Back-to-back returns down the line.
30-14.
And Sharapova, had she been playing, could have as easily been the #2 seed.
Yep.
So she will take that spot and take that draw if she wins here.
Missed that one, but boy, was she teeing off on those.
And Sharapova, you sense she's smelling blood here. I mean, this is there for the taking, seeing the finish line. But it's Halep putting up some resistance here. And that's the type of point that Halep would want to try to play as often as possible. Just a bit more aggressive with her court positioning and taking her shot up the line instead of going back up the middle.
Game, Halep.
So a service hold for Simona Halep, and now we'll try to defend and see if she can get a break back here at 2-4. Darren Cahill looking on, Halep's coach. And talking about that section of the draw, add on top of the layer of if Halep were to go out, that the 7th seed also in this quarter of the draw, Johanna Konta, was beaten earlier today, and she's out. But again, it's not any ordinary wild card into a tournament, a young player on the rise. This is Maria Sharapova we're talking about. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, still more tennis to be played tonight.
This match is still very much at hand for either player. But you just wonder if Sharapova gets through, how she's going to be match after match, because she hasn't had a lot of matches. Whether she will hold up physically. And those are things we wouldn't have wondered about Halep if Halep gets through. But we're seeing just a little bit of misfiring from Sharapova, perhaps a sign of some tension, just a little bit creeping into her game. It's been a big swing from 4-1 and looking at a break opportunity to now under pressure at love 30.
A few break points in hand here for Simona Halep.
And this may be the first game of the match where Halep has had love 40.
Yeah.
And Sharapova serve for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Deep and a good call, and so Halep gets the service break and a chance to draw even in this second set.
Games to 3, second set, about 1 set to love.
can't overstate what that service break might mean in the outcome of this match for Simona Halep. After giving up a break at 2-1 to fall behind 3-1, and Sharapova consolidating to go up 4-1. Now Halep breaking it 2-4. And gets to serve here at 3-4 to try and draw even in this second set.
Well, there's a sense that there's a bit more positive energy now from Simona Halep. She certainly has more momentum now than she's had in quite a while since the latter part of the first set. And for Sharapova, you saw just a little tension creep into her game. Started getting over anxious and trying to press too much, and it created the additional unforced errors.
Looking at some of the stats on the match, both players have not fared well winning points on their second serves. So landing first serves becoming very big in this match. Right now Sharapova is...
Time!
She's faring a little bit better.
A little bit,
Halep.
33% for the match. In this set, 44% Sharapova winning points on her second serve versus 29 for the set for Halep winning on her second serve.
Have we just seen a momentum swing in the match? Simona Halep breaking to get back to 3-4, serving here to try and even this second set after giving up the early service break to Maria Sharapova.
Love 15.
That's the type of ball that Halep can't afford to throw in. It's a rally ball down the middle of the court, the low part of the net, and she misses it into the net.
Beautiful.
That is well done from Sharapova, taking advantage of the miss on the first ball and getting more aggressive in the second point.
That backhand cross court has been pinpoint tonight. She has been very accurate with it.
That's better shot selection from Halep. That last point got a little tentative, hit right back into the Sharapova wheelhouse, but here immediately moving the ball down one side and then going down the other lane.
Halep able to draw back even after falling behind in this game. Trying to draw back even in the set. Continuing that theme to see if she can draw back even in the match and force a third.
Oh, that's a big time return. After missing the previous shot. Classic Sharapova. Halep cannot afford to relax for even one moment.
Another break opportunity for Sharapova.
Deuce.
She's only converted 4 of 14 opportunities to break. Now those 4 have been big. But imagine how many more she could have had.
Yeah, that's a big stat. That tells you a lot. Just wide.
Been a challenge.
Halep is challenging the call on the right far sideline. The ball was called out.
Bit of wishful thinking here for Halep.
So a chase review.
Advantage,
an inch or two.
Sharapova. Miss Halep has one challenge remaining.
And that's the sign of a bit of rust still in the Sharapova game, just not having played the matches, playing under pressure, these big point opportunities, and we've seen more misses from the Sharapova racket.
Advantage,
Halep capitalizes on it there. That was a smart first serve. Down the tee, getting Sharapova stretched out on the backhand side. Game point for Halep to stay on serve.
Game Halep.
Huge hold of serve for Simona Halep to even this second set at 4 games apiece.
4 games all, second sets. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Quiet, please. Thank you. Thank you. Love.
So the 9th game of this second set starts with an ace from Maria Sharapova. The exchange of service breaks, evening us up at 4 apiece. Sharapova winning the first set. In what has been a very intense match between 2 of the best women in tennis. Long on that.
15 all.
That was a good call, and it will stand unchallenged. It's that 5th double fault of the match, 2nd of the set for Maria.
Nicely done by Halep, keeping the ball deep, not allowing Sharapova to step in.
Think there's a little interest in this match?
Just slightly. Halep winning the last 7 out of 10 points. What a turnaround it has been for Halep from 1-4 down, now with a couple of break points.
Thank you.
To serve for this second set. Halep was looking for the serve out wide. That cheated over. And Sharapova called her on it. Right up the tee. Wow. What a way to get back to deuce. It started with an excellent serve. Hasn't gone out to the backhand of Halep as often, and did so in perfect position there.
Advantage, Halep.
I'm just trying to think back. We've talked about the number of unforced errors by Sharapova tonight, but if there was a preponderance from the backhand versus the forehand or not, remembering that the left arm injury was the reason that she withdrew from the Stanford tournament earlier this summer.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Players are ready.
Many more winners off the forehand side than the backhand. And she's been looking to run around backhands, Sharapova has.
Wow.
Halep.
From 1-4 down in this second set, Simona Halep will serve to try and even the match.
5 games to 4, second set. First set, Sharapova.
May or may not perhaps be there. A fascinating moment in this match about to unfold. So can Simona Halep even the match? On serve here. Rallying from 1-4 down in this second set to be serving at 5-4.
Well, this is now the challenge for Halep, though, to not get tentative, not get more defensive with the set on her racket. That's the pressure that Halep is feeling. You see it there. Showing a little frustration with the first point of this game. That's nicely done by Sharapova. She's missed a few of those balls when she was up in this set. Just misfired, but still going after her shots, not hesitating. Great contact point in that backhand.
Now some pressure here on Halep at love 30. What a great serve.
15-13.
The kick out wide that Sharapova couldn't get back in play. So some break points again for Sharapova.
15-14.
It's tough for Halep when she's trying to match the pace of Sharapova. Not quite as comfortable hitting at that speed. Still so much tension in this game. Sharapova, the second break point here.
Deuce.
Opportunity knocked. and wasn't answered.
And great defensive skills from Halep. Keeping the pressure on Sharapova as much as possible, forcing her to hit those extra shots at the end of points.
Not done yet.
Advantage Sharapova. Ladies and gentlemen, Zakuski players, please do not make a noise between first and second serves. Thank you.
That's a massive return. That's what's been the struggle for Sharapova. She has come up with some brilliant shots, but that her 50th unforced error. 25 in each set thus far.
Yeah.
Not easy to take that ball out of the air and hit a swinging forehand.
Advantage Sharapova.
That height, and Sharapova still swinging confidently, not backing off.
So another chance to try and get a break of serve to even up this second set. And another one not taken advantage of.
And it's just all or nothing for Sharapova on some of these points, and her contact point was late, and that ball just had no chance.
And a constant theme throughout this match has been Sharapova jumping on Halep's second serve with great success.
Well, and give Halep some credit, because this wasn't a terrible serve. Second serve, not great, but Sharapova just manhandled it. And Halep has just had to be steady and weather the storm sometimes, and she's battled Halep to get herself into this position here in the second set.
And at the risk of repeating myself, she was down 1-4.
Yeah.
Fought back.
And then comes up with a big serve.
Wow.
Advantage Halep.
So a chance to even the match and send it to a third set.
Halep is challenging the ball.
She will challenge. Chase review coming.
Ball was pulled out.
Off the roar of the fans maybe swayed that decision to challenge. Didn't notice her looking over at the coaching box. Wow.
It's out.
Sharapova is challenging the ball on the right baseline. The ball was pulled out.
So a chase review here to see if the second set has gone Simona Halep's way, though Sharapova is already over at her chair. And so from 1-4 down, Simona Halep comes back and takes the second set. We'll go to a decider here in Arthur Ashe Stadium. So a look at some of the facts and figures in this match so far. 56 minutes in the second set after an hour-long first set.
Well, one of the differences in this second set, the first serve percentage of Halep, she got that percentage up, didn't allow Sharapova to step in quite as comfortably on second serves. And also the unforced errors. Sharapova, so many more unforced errors compared to Simona Halep, who was much steadier, and not as many winners in the key moments to offset that. And Sharapova, of course, getting up 4-1, and that was where so many of her unforced errors started coming in to play. And Halep, meanwhile, got just a little bit more aggressive and was able to dictate a little bit more.
For Halep being down 1-4 to dig back deep, get the 2 breaks of serve after getting that far behind, and then close out this second set, that's pretty impressive, because it felt like at that 1-4, it felt like she was teetering.
Well, I think, you know, these were important moments for Halep. And she's had a tendency to get negative on court. That's something she's admitted, she's worked on. She and her coach, Darren Cahill, they stopped working together earlier this year for a while, a short while, because of that. Because Darren said, you know, this is not something I'm going to accept. And Halep had some time to think about it. She quickly realized she wanted Darren back, that she was going to make some positive adjustments, and she's done that. And I think this match is where we've seen it pay some dividends, because against Sharapova, you can't afford to get negative.
So Maria has left the court for a moment. Simona Halep ready to go after rallying to win the second set, waiting on Maria Sharapova to return from an off-court visit. What a rally for the second seed, the second-ranked player in the world, one of 8 women with a chance to leave New York with the #1 ranking. And of course, the bigger prize for Halep even than that is a chance to win the U.S. Open, where she's been a quarterfinalist and a semifinalist in the last 2 years. The surprise in the draw with Maria Sharapova getting the wild card, that these two would match up in the opening round. It's been the match that everyone has talked about all weekend since the draw on Friday. And I think it's fair to say it's been everything we thought it might be. This feels like we're looking at a quarterfinal or something instead of an opening round match.
What has been, and you know, as we see also the break points, and apart from the unforced errors, we talked about the first serve percentage, but the break point opportunities from Sharapova, and that's where a lot of her unforced errors came in. So it was the other side of the coin, and Halep has been able to take advantage of it. And that's what we expected from Halep. We expected to see her come out here and compete, to defend well, take her opportunities if she had them. And she had to serve well, Halep, a lot of first serves, and she's done that in this second set.
You wonder, with Halep standing out there on court, knowing that Sharapova is off the court, how much of this is, I'm ready for you when Maria comes back. You know, what the mind games that players attempt to play against each other are in a match like this?
Well, Sharapova, you know, she clearly needs to reset. She's just lost the last 5 games, was well in control of this match, and really had it on her racket. Just past 10 o'clock Eastern time here in New York, 2 hours this match. But Sharapova needing the reset, but Halep, she wants to continue this momentum. She doesn't want to stop. She doesn't want to sit down, and she doesn't want to wait. And it's all part of maintaining the mental, where you are mentally, that mental stability that you need to start the third set the way each player needs to start it.
To hit a couple of serves just to stay loose. Still to come tonight, we'll see the 4th seed Alexander Zverev in men's play against a really interesting story, qualifier Darian King, who is from Bridgetown, Barbados, and will be making his first ever appearance in a Grand Slam main draw match. We'll do it inside Arthur Ashe Stadium on opening night. And that's next, but first, a deciding third set in this one between Halep and Maria Sharapova. If you weren't with us earlier, the first set of the match featured 5 breaks of serve. Started when Sharapova broke Halep at 2-1 to go up 3-1. Halep broke right back. Sharapova broke again. Halep broke right back, then consolidated. We were at 4-all. Then Sharapova broke to close out the first set and win it 6-4 in 1 hour even. In the second set, Maria again broke Halep at 2-1 to go up 3-1, then consolidated to go up 4-1. Halep broke it 2-4, then again at 3-4 to pull even at 4-all. She went ahead 5-4 and then wins the second set 6-4 in 56 minutes.
Sharapova had a breakpoint opportunity, I believe, during that 4-1 game where Halep was serving, couldn't capitalize. And since then, Halep has really used the momentum in her favor.
So Sharapova, as you can see, back on court, and we are ready to go with a third and deciding set inside Arthur Ashe Stadium. What a way to begin this 137th play of the U.S.
Final
Open.
set. Sharapova to serve.
So Maria again will serve to start the set.
I think that has been an advantage throughout this match for Sharapova. She couldn't quite take full advantage in the second set. But it's been Halep who's been under more pressure, serving second.
Seats at the end of the court. Thank you. Players are waiting.
Halep has certainly been on a
Any
roll
seats now, gentlemen?
lately. We'll see if any of the 2 women cool off during that extended break between sets. What a rally to start the third set.
15 love.
And that's what we've kind of come to expect. I mean, this match has been everything we had hoped it would be. It's been so competitive. We've had some changes in momentum.
A rarity in this match, a player winning a point on her second serve.
And a rarity, Halep making an unforced error.
Yeah.
And she's been fairly clean, hasn't hit a lot of winners, but fairly even. Those 2 areas.
11 unforced errors for Halep in the match compared to 52 for Sharapova.
Well, we certainly would have expected more unforced errors from Sharapova. She's the more aggressive player. You know, she goes for her shots, and you know, you look at the number of winners, it almost offsets the unforced errors, but it's been the timing for Sharapova of some of those errors. This is a great game so far for Sharapova to hold serve in this fashion if she can continue, having lost the first set, having lost the last 5 games, to get on serve immediately and stop the bleeding.
A little long.
Game.
So Sharapova with the quick service hold to start this third set.
That's just the game Sharapova needed.
Game, final set.
Really steady herself here. Get that positive energy back. Not that we can see she's lost it, but certainly has to be a disappointment to lose the second set the way she did. So to get right back up to the line, hold serve, now she can swing away and maybe get some more opportunities on the Halep serve.
Yeah, the fact that she'd lost her last 2 service games, now that steadies that any thought that that might happen.
Absolutely. Puts you right back, even keel, and with a little positive momentum if you're Sharapova.
So Simona Halep, who's fought from behind almost all match long, now looking to see if she can win her first service game of this third set.
Love 15.
It certainly appears. You see there, Katie Couric on the right, and Marissa Hargitay on the left. Law and Order SVU, Mariska, I should say.
Love 13.
It's one of my favorite shows.
Is it?
It is.
They showed Henrik Lundqvist earlier.
Oh.
Rangers goalie, that's more my speed. Hockey thing. Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah. It's a big moment here for Halep.
Oh! 15-13.
She's fought back from down love 30 a handful of times, it feels like, in this match. But I don't recall her being down love 40 at all, so that was an important point.
It was.
And
that's some of the missed opportunities that Sharapova has had. That previous point just didn't need to make it quite so good. Missed the opportunity to take the comprehensive lead in this game.
Here we go again, another break opportunity.
30.
Well, that return was even tougher than the last return on that side of the court. Sharapova handled it even better.
Juice.
And just as another break opportunity, another break not converted. While we've had plenty of service breaks in this match, and it's been one of the themes, there have been plenty more opportunities.
Let's a service.
Covering a lot of court in that point.
Advantage
I was just thinking,
Sharapova.
watching that both these players must feel like they've run about 10 miles tonight
Well,
so far.
Halep has run quite a bit more than Sharapova, all things being equal.
So a service break for Maria Sharapova to go up 2 games to love in this deciding third set.
Sharapova leads 2 games to love, final set. Thank you. Please.
Big game here for Maria Sharapova and for Simona Halep. Can Sharapova consolidate and take a pretty hefty lead in this third and deciding set, or can Halep get a service break that she's done a few times in this match and claw right back into it?
Oh, nicely done from Halep. One of the more aggressive returns in this match.
Stepped right into it. Really, like she did in the first set, could use to punch right back here with the service break. Nice.
And this is like two fighters in the ring, just going toe-to-toe. When one hits, the other one comes right back. And Sharapova with an excellent reply.
That's a good serve, too. Right into the body.
And Halep did well with the return. Sharapova just did her one better. Oh, well done. This is just fabulous stuff.
30-all.
I've got it.
Halep might have thought she won this point a couple of times there at the end.
So fighting back from love 30.
40-13.
To have a game point here to consolidate that service break and go up 3-love in this third set.
Thank you. Game Sharapova.
Solid for Maria Sharapova, up 3-love in the third.
Sharapova leads 3-love, final sets.
Well, I don't know what more you say about the performance tonight by both of these players, but there has been no give in on either side. And remember that in the second set, Simona Halep was down 1-4 and came back to win it. So she's certainly not going to quit on this one tonight. On a beautiful night here in New York City. Roof is open at Arthur Ashe Stadium. The forecast for the tournament, as far out in advance as they give such forecasts, is a pretty beautiful one. Moderate temperatures. We'll forecast some great tennis too. What a great start tonight.
Well, tonight is any indicator. We are in for a great U.S. Open this year, and we've talked about it in these lead-up events, the lead-up weeks, how open the women's field is and how any number of women have a chance
find a
to
seat
win.
quickly, thank you.
A couple of handful of women that have a chance to be
Time.
number one.
Total of 8 with a chance.
Any seat for now, thank you, ladies and
Great start it
gentlemen.
has been tonight in Arthur Ashe Stadium. So Simona Halep faced with digging deep again, just like she was in the second set, to try and rally from behind. This time it's not to send it to a deciding set. This time it's to decide the match and to continue on in this U.S. Open.
The 3-love seems like a huge uphill climb for Halep, but it's really just one break of serve. And when you consider how many breaks we've seen over the course of the match, she's still in this, especially with the way she's competed.
First, she's got a hold serve. Back to the comment about the number of breaks of serve we've seen in the match.
30-love.
Well, holding serve has been difficult for Halep, but this is a good start, as good a start as any that she's had in her service games. Ball completely mistimed by Sharapova. Halep did well with the angle, getting Sharapova off the court.
Game, Halep.
So a quick service hold for Simona Halep to get it back to
3 games to 1.
3 games to 1. And a reminder that USOpen.org is your online home for point-by-point live scoring and real-time stats and draws. Visit the official tournament site, USOpen.org. So, now that the service hold is out of the way, now Simona Halep has to dig in and find a service break. Sharapova serving at 3-1, up a set. Excuse me, in the third set.
The service.
It's so close to what happened in the second set.
Yeah.
You could almost think.
It's having a flashback.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Both players with all 3 chase reviews at their disposal as we work through this third set. Certainly it's been a gutty, gritty effort from Simona Halep fighting back to this point.
Halep has played from behind almost the entire match. And you know, there's one point in the second set where they were even, or excuse me, in the first set where they were even at 4-all. But she's pretty much been behind since then.
No, she played from behind to get back to 4-all even.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. That didn't miss by a little.
And this is where Halep has really done an excellent job, is battling back when she's been down and keeping pressure on Sharapova's serve.
Thank you. Please.
See that little cheap to the right just as Sharapova was ready to serve by Halep. Guessed right, but just didn't catch it right.
And that's the move. It's being aware, as Halep is, of how Sharapova primarily serves down the tee, because she has trouble getting that serve to the backhand with her toss. That toss sometimes fades out into the court. It's difficult to get under the ball. You have to almost slice it. And Halep trying to be a little more aggressive, trying to move the ball, just over hitting.
An important point here for both players. So Sharapova comes back to get that service hold and go up 4 games to 1.
Sharapova there asking if it was going to be new balls. Looks like she's taking out a fresh stick, which a lot of players do. Get just a little more tension. The ball is going to move through the air just a little bit quicker. It doesn't have the fuzz.
So the urgency now on Simona Halep, who again needs a service hold and then needs to find a break to get the outcome of this to go her way and to be here in New York for more than just tonight.
This is the exact position Simona Halep was in, as we see Darren, her coach, exact position she was in the second set. Down 4-1, serving the second set. Sharapova had a break point in that game. And this is a time where Halep needs to get a good start. The first 2 points of the service game, flooding the court with first serves and trying to keep Sharapova off balance, not letting her step in and hit from a stationary position.
In that second set, serving down 1-4.
Time.
Halep held serve, then broke at 2-4, then consolidated to get back to 4-all. We'll see if she can do it again. Well, big necessity here for Simona Halep to hold serve and see if she can start another rally. Serving with new balls.
First 2 points here are critical for Halep. Helps to relieve the pressure and the tension, playing from a position, being ahead.
30 love.
Sharapova with the aggressive return attempt, but a little too deep.
Yeah, a couple of gifts from Sharapova.
30-15.
There's a little skip right in the end line. Almost 2.5 hours into this match. And still a lot to be decided.
This match could easily be a semifinal of this event.
Yep.
Both players, were playing and in a rhythm of matches. Instead, we are seeing it in the first round.
Game, Halep.
All right, so there's the first step back for Simona Halep, just like in the second set.
4 games to 2, final set.
Well, and this is where, in that second set, Sharapova didn't play a good service game, didn't get a good start to her service game. She had started missing in the return game at 4-1 in the second and didn't make the correction. So can she make the correction here?
It's a big ask to keep digging out of that kind of hole against a player like Sharapova.
And that's a good start.
15.
Took her time, Sharapova, before that serve. Picked her spots, went for the target. Wow. So often Sharapova has gone down the tee. Halep not expecting the serve out wide.
105 miles an hour with location.
With an angle. That is nicely done. Great presence of mind by Halep. Went up the middle of the court. First couple of shots. Realized she needed to move the ball. Did so with great accuracy. Nothing is easy at this time in a match when there's a little tension in every part of your body.
And a little fatigue. Because this has been a hard-fought match.
It's been a physical match.
Yeah.
Some long, drawn-out points and games. That's a good second. Wow.
What a challenge coming.
Left knee center. The ball was called in.
Chase review. I don't know if Simona's going to get any satisfaction from this.
That is a wicked angle.
So, Sharapova, 5 games to 2 in this third set.
Sharapova leads 5 games to 2, final set. Ms. Halep has 2 challenges remaining.
Well, that tells you a lot. 2.5 hours. What kind of form would Maria Sharapova be in? What kind of fitness? They've both been tested tonight very thoroughly.
Well, that's some of what we talked about at the beginning. You know, and you know, we've seen from Sharapova that you know, she looks like she's been playing most of the year. I mean, in terms of her level of intensity. She's missed a few. You see that there's a little rust in terms of the big points. But this third set, Sharapova has gotten right back to what got her the lead. No hesitation at all. And it's been Sharapova who's dictated more times than not.
And continued to be the aggressor, as is her style. But, you know, even when Halep made that rally in the second set, has not backed off the aggression one bit.
And Sharapova has come up with some excellent points, shot making, and that last serve. You can't get a serve out wide much better than that. And that's what it's taken to get to this lead against Simona Halep.
So Simona Halep serving to stay in the match. And while down with the back against the wall, it's still a matter of the one service break. 2 service holds and a service break evens the thing up.
That's right.
Still have to hold serve here to have the next opportunity at a break. Just missed. Sharapova has broken Halep's serve 5 times. Was that the first little sign of a stretch we just saw there?
Yeah, it looked like she was maybe stretching the left leg, or Halep was. Been money for Sharapova so often during this match. Immediately taking the serve on the rise inside the baseline. Beautiful backhand up the line.
Long, little wide. 40 love quickly to 40-30. Service hold, and again, a leg stretch for Simona Halep. Now needing that service break to stay in the match. And obviously in a little bit of discomfort from something.
It's something, and it appears to be the left leg, and that's the one she keeps touching. Trying to shake it out.
And for the match.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Players are ready.
Sharapova to serve.
Thank you. Please.
did she get that ball?
That is not giving up on a point. Maintaining a level of intensity. Halep did there.
15.
And all she had to do was get her racket on this last volley.
Thank you.
Great effort.
Love 13.
I just guided that serve. Sharapova arm didn't get up and out into the court. First double fault of this third set.
Interesting moment here. Love 30, Halep needing a service break to stay in the match.
Thank you.
Great shot.
And Halep again.
15,
Against that leg.
13.
And Sharapova focused on her side of the court. Trying to maintain some calm, some fluidity, especially on the serve.
Get to this point in the match, it really becomes about, okay, let's win this point.
Small goals.
Yeah. Beautifully done.
Sharapova is just going all out. Picking her spots.
30 all.
Hit or miss. She is letting it rip.
Now 2 points away from the match.
Wow. What a point from Simona Halep. She is taking what Sharapova is throwing at her, and on that point gave her one better. Driving that ball through the lane.
Thank you.
And she get the break point conversion.
Thank you. Please.
4 of 9 in the match on converting break points for Simona Halep. Long.
Had it, Halep. Had the shot she wanted. That opened up the court nicely. That was the first break point of this set for Halep. Working extremely hard right now.
Beautifully done. Wow.
Well, that's the shot Sharapova has hit so many times in this match. But what a moment for it.
And it sets up match point.
Thank you.
That's it. Halep's going to challenge. We'll have a chase review. Ready to go, come up empty. Simona Halep is out. Maria Sharapova has won.
You could see from Sharapova's reaction just how much this match means to her. So much more than a first round. Both players gave everything they had. The intensity, they competed. But it was Sharapova who was just a bit more aggressive, had more firepower, and maybe just a little more confidence and belief.
Simona fought valiantly.
She fought.
It was a great match.
She came back time and time again, Halep, and really gained a lot of fans, I think, tonight. Even more fans. But it was Sharapova. Came through in some big moments.
So Sharapova over Simona Halep in 3 sets.
"19 months since you'd played a Grand Slam match. What's going through you?"
I just thought that this was another day, another opportunity, another match, but this was so much more, and I didn't want to think about it. And you never really know what you're going to feel until you win that match point, and you can't really control your emotions or what goes through your mind, but you just figure that everything that you go through is so worth it just for this moment. What was it, 2 hours and 44 minutes out here in front of you, and you sometimes wonder why you put in all the work, and this is exactly why.
From the outside, there was so much around the match, from the level of play to the atmosphere, that felt like a semifinal or a final, not an opening round match. How did it feel on the inside?
Well, I think I mean personally, and I know it also comes from Simona, but we respect each other so much, and I know that going into this match, and when we both saw the draw, there was something extra in that, and I know that we were preparing for that, and the hype was because of the quality of the matches that we've played before, and no matter my record against her, it's always been tough. No matter what tournament, no matter where we played, I know that I have to work for it, and today was just another example of that.
It was a long time coming to that moment when you went down on the court at match point. In that journey from the time away to right then, what was the low point?
A few. There were definitely a few, but I don't think this is the time to talk about that. I just...
Understood.
These guys right there, and a few more are missing from my box, but this is why I'm here. Thank you so much. We did it today. Thank you.
I know this is one statistic that this crowd can certainly appreciate, and I know you know what I'm going to tell you. You're now 18-0 on Ashe at night.
Woo!
What is it about this time on this court that yields those results? How do you explain it, Maria?
It's prime time, baby. I love it. When I found out it was going to be a night match, I mean, look, these are the opportunities that you play for. When I was young and I was coming to New York City, I was so intimidated by everything, the people, the rush, the traffic, the crowd, the noise, and now I embrace every moment of it, and I love it, and yes. And now I can't wait for moments like that.
Finally, Maria, there were so many questions surrounding your return, at least from the outside. What did you learn tonight?
That behind all these Swarovski crystals and little black dresses, this girl has a lot of grit, and she's not going anywhere.
Maria Sharapova through to the second round.